And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell. Blanken and Tyler, happy belated birthday. I had my dates crossed. I thought it was later. We got done recording last week, and I was like, yeah, we're going to get your birthday gift out, which also we did not. But we will get it out. Someday I'm going to have time to go to the post office. It's crazy how difficult that is. Right now in my life, but happy belated birthday. I know you told me that it was a good one. I hope it was really a good week for you. I hope you had a great birthday week. Happy Black History Month. We have a lot to get into this week, so I'm going to toss it to you. How you doing? How was your birthday week?
Yeah, listen, man, your presence through the screen is all the gift that I need. It's great to see you. Yes, it was a blessed birthday. The birthday week that followed was incredibly affirming at school and overall just very, very positive. I feel loved. I thank you for your kind words and being who you are. And I'm excited for this episode of Gimmick Infringement. We're talking Drew McIntyre's declaration. AEW has a huge week coming up with Grand Slam. You saw a very enjoyable movie, The Rip, on Netflix. J. Cole dropped an album that I have thoughts on. There's going to be a lot to get into. So I cannot wait for the conversations that await us here on this edition of Gimmick Infringement. How you been?
Busy. Really, really extraordinarily busy. Blessed though. Like, we have a lot of people helping out at the theater now, and it's just been a lot of fun having, I think we've been remiss in not asking people to come help and just being like, hey, families, if you want to come play with us, come play with us. Like, bring your drills, bring your saws, bring your experience and come help. It's been fun, man. Like, it's just been a lot of fun. A lot of people came out. I want to say we had like 6 or 7 parents that came out. Oh God, somebody heard that and
I didn't know if you did that. I didn't know if you did that intentionally.
No,
I thought I was the one on this podcast who can be cringe and say that every so often. But you took my mantle. 6, 7. I got
gross. You. Yeah,
you did that.
I mean, John Candy did it in Home Alone, so I think it's just part of the cultural consciousness. So,
are kids still doing that for you at school?
Yes, 100%.
Really? It faded off a little bit for me.
They're not doing that thing. Okay. Freya's doing that thing. It's still going strong at the elementary schools. Shout out to all the elementary teachers, and God bless and good luck. It's. I won't get that. I'll get this. I'll get the. This is for the YouTube audience only. The little like, oh, he said it. Look, and that's it. But nobody's doing like the, I don't know. What's the hand? Did you ever see Major League 2?
I don't know that I have. I've seen Major League, the original.
Yeah. So Major League 2, they get a Japanese player on their team, and he's taken out Pedro Serrano, who's found like a new kinder self, and prays to Buddha instead for the entirety of the show instead of Jobu. But this guy's like, you got no marbles. Marbles? Huevos. And then he does this thing where he goes, and he juggles his arms up and down. And every time kids are doing this 6-7 thing, I think of him going, to Pedro Serrano.
Knowing they've never seen Major League.
Absolutely not. No. They don't even know it's a movie. Yeah, they don't even know it's a movie. Because no Wesley Snipes. That was Omar Epps was replaced for Major League 2. It's Omar Epps too. So like I was good at the time. I was like, I like Omar Epps. Weird choice for a vampire in later films, but still, this was a really good day. Nobody juggled anything that I'm aware of. 6-7 definitely got said. What I was gonna say is, I have a hard time with being ahead of the curve. I don't like that I get announcement emails to show during my Tiger Times, are basically our homeroom for those of you that are the uninitiated. We have these announcement videos, and they'll come in on Friday for Tuesday, or Thursday for Monday, or whatever it is. I don't even remember I have them at that point. Like, that's just nothing to me. And this is what happened with the present for you, because I brought it with when we met up for Dynamite and Collision. I had it. I bought that at the end of December. I was so ready for it. I was like, I know what I'm getting Tyler. Here we go. It's December, and it's still not there on time. And it's that's basically it. It's just I got it way too far in advance. I need the pressure of time to get my ADD booty and gear. I'm glad I censored myself there, but we had a semi-censored thing because it was WWE. It's always going to be a little censored, but we also had it be a little more hardcore than what we're always used to. And we got to talk about it, Tyler. It is time for the two best words in gimmick infringement.
Is there anything that our women's world champ can't do? Like you, Brad, I so enjoyed the Philly street fight. Our women's world champ, Stephanie Buckley, successfully defended her title against Raquel Rodriguez last week in Philadelphia. My mind, a week later, my mind isn't even on the match. I mean, it was great. Shout out to those two great performers. But it was what came before that. La Primera has a new theme, which is objectively worse than its predecessor. What? Why do we need new music? Stephanie Buckley is on record. I think this was in an interview with Chris Van Vliet that she loved her original theme and wanted to keep it for as long as possible. So I don't know why it changed. But once I got over that, I enjoyed the match. I'm glad Steph won, of course. And Raquel Rodriguez is still in a prominent position. She's featured heavily every week, this past week on Monday and on Friday. So I think she is not necessarily worse off. But continuing on, speaking of Raquel Rodriguez, her partner in crime, Liv Morgan, has teased the possibility of challenging Bacchère or SmackDown's Jade Cargill. We know Liv Morgan is the Royal Rumble winner. I still say Liv chooses Steph, but Paul Levesque, I'm talking to Levesque right now. Paul Levesque and the WWE powers that be. The streets is watching. We had a Philly street fight last week, and now the streets have their eye on you. We at Gimmick Infringement are watching how you handle Bacchère's reign before she likely drops the title at Mania. Do right by her. That's it. Stop watching.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried. I actually got scared that they were just going to pull the trigger and end it during this match when she was up on that turnbuckle, and my thought was, yeah, they're just going to do it. No fanfare city. Like, it's just going to happen.
And that wasn't even the main event. That was a segment or two before the Roman versus Punk confrontation, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, which I guess that would be the main event though, right?
Yeah, match-wise. If you're going to have Steph drop, you and I have spoken about this week in and week out. It just, I suspect it's going to happen by the end of night 1 or night 2 of Mania, but it should feel like a big deal.
Right.
I'm worried that, to your point, it didn't happen in Philly, luckily, but when it does happen, maybe in a couple months, it's just going to feel like an afterthought, which it shouldn't, because Stephanie Bacchère was one of your hottest superstars of 2025, and she kills everything she's given. Mm-hmm. One-on-one contests, tag teams, Philly street fights. She's been knocking it out of the park every time.
Do you think that the Liv match will likely happen? I think that, to your point, do you think that Judgment Day is done by that point, at least with Liv in it?
It's a great question. I'm not so sure that it will be. The Judgment Day reminds me of AEW's Death Riders. Yeah. I thought these factions were going to be done well before Christmas 2025. So at this point, I just think both are going to continue into perpetuity. But Liv Morgan seems to be resonating with the crowd. I wonder if we're on the precipice of a babyface transition for her. And then how does that work if she's facing Steph, and Steph undeniably is a babyface? I wonder how they're gonna play this out, Brad. But no, I think the Judgment Day is going to continue until you and I have gray hairs, but maybe until you have gray hairs.
Maybe there's another Raquel match in the future. Maybe Raquel takes an elimination chamber or something.
Yeah, because Liv Morgan eliminated her from the Royal Rumble match. That was not unintentional.
Raquel versus Liv for the title at Mania would work too as a story.
Mm-hmm. And Steph drops at what, Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, I don't want that to happen, but I think is there 2 coming up? I know there's Elimination Chamber, but is there another one in between?
No, I believe that's the final WWE PLE. There may be an NXT special.
Saturday night's main event.
Saturday night's main event, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I'm sure you have questions, so let's get into them.
I do. I sure do. Okay, WWE. Solo Sikoa remains the most hilarious person on the roster. I sent you and
you're not
Mike
wrong.
Steph
Yes,
the
you
clip
did.
of Solo hitting the Orton pose
The Orton
while he
pose.
was being ordered up in the main event of SmackDown.
Yeah.
I miss Aleister Black winning matches, but that's a conversation for another episode, perhaps. Roman Reigns hates CM Punk. He said it to his face in Philly.
So good. So good.
And Oba Femi defeated 3 men in 1 week. I put in parentheses in my notes, as he should. I have questions about where the War Raiders are at right now.
Yeah.
It was jarring to me that Oba defeated them in short order in a handicap match on Raw.
Well, that's the thing, though.
I don't
He
love.
didn't.
Oh yeah, that's a great point.
He went up there, beat him up, and left.
I was gonna
But
say that.
they gave him an entrance. They
Oh.
gave him entrance music. They were confused as to why Oba was coming there. Nobody rang a bell. Oba beat the crap out of them and then dipped to entrance music.
Check this
It's
out.
like, what's that?
I could argue that's even worse than losing
Yes,
a match.
100%.
He just showed up, beat the
Just-
brakes off them, did the pose that ends the entrance,
Yep. Yep.
and we
In
haven't heard
short
from
order.
we haven't heard from the War Raiders since. I hope they're okay. I don't know.
Yeah, that was wild.
I have questions about where the
Great,
War
great for
Raiders are.
Oba.
Great for Oba. I love the segment with him and Kit Wilson, Oba Femi and Kit Wilson,
Yes.
that is on SmackDown. I mean, Kit Wilson's song has officially been added to my
It's on mine as
my
well.
commuter playlist to school every day. Man up, it's great. Oba Femi is fantastic and my favorite wrestler in the company. We know this, but my question is not going to be about him this time. I wanted to throw you off. I want to ask you about the undisputed champion, Drew McIntyre. He was all over SmackDown, fighting off pugnacious challengers like Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. I'm proud of using pugnacious, by the way. I Googled that before we started recording just to make sure I understood the word correctly. And I totally remember pugnacious. Yeah, want to fight. Yeah. Okay. Pugnacious challengers like Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. Later in the night, this is very important, he cut a promo in front of the audience while standing on the ringside announce table, which is always a G move, taking shots at his challengers, Fatu and Rhodes, that is, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and others. Question for you, my friend. What do you think of Drew's current storyline? And if you had your druthers, who would he face at Mania?
I don't know. I was thinking about the Cody, not Cody. Oh my God, the CM Punk Roman Reigns banter back and forth of them. Where's the line between we're going to mention this guy because he's been an active threat and Roman making sure to go like, you weren't here. You're going to call him the easy way out. He's twice your size and all the stuff he said about Drew. But they kept going like, or Drew McIntyre, like over and over and over again. And I was like, why are you burying Drew like this? Like, I get your characters are doing that, but you two are arguably the biggest stars in the company. And you know, Cody's there too. But CM Punk and Roman Reigns feel like they still carry a lot more weight with the words that they say.
Agreed.
Like
They're
by
the
a lot.
I agree with you. Cody
Yeah.
Cody is right there, but it's Punk and Reigns by far. They're just at a different stratosphere.
Yeah, and so I feel like their words carry weight. Where I started thinking like, well, yeah, why you're starting to make me not want to see that guy the way you're talking about it. So it started to make me go like, yeah, I'm not really going to care about that match at that point because you're starting to make me not care about that match. Why are you saying it like we shouldn't care about who that? It bugged me a little bit because Drew's so awesome. So right now, as long as people aren't undermining the legacy, the ability, and the threat, or the, I don't know, credibility of Drew McIntyre as a champion, I think that the reign is fine. I think the storyline is going to be good. I just also think, I don't know what's going to happen. Cody's promo was, I have questions about that. Okay. None of them comfortable.
We could talk about it.
Well, I'm just gonna ask you, how'd you feel about the promo, Tyler?
It was so weird to me. I mean, the promo itself was good. It was the Raheem mention reference.
Yes, that's the one.
I am well endowed, and I want to remind you all that. And I'm going to get my title back. It just seemed unnecessary. I mean, it got the timeline talking, which perhaps is a goal of many performers, right? You want to be the topic of conversation. Unintentional Kit Wilson reference, but I just thought it was unnecessary. It was just strange.
Everything,
they don't.
That was
I haven't gotten the nickname Raheem for no reason, but I don't know if this audio was sweetened. The crowd seemed to pop for it. They appreciated Cody reminding us that he's well endowed. I guess it got the house hot. I guess that's a sign of was it successful or not. I thought it was unnecessary. I think the rivalry, what him and Drew have going on, then inserting Jacob Fatu, I think it's already hot for the audience. I don't know that we need kind of a spicy moment on the mic to get us more amped up. But for performers like Cody, who have been considered one of the best on the mic for so long, I do appreciate the willingness to take chances and maybe go off the cuff. It kind of felt like that wasn't planned in his promo. Maybe he was just feeling it and went with it. So I do respect, you're great at what you do. Take chances, take risks. Sometimes it's going to hit, sometimes it's not. For me, it wasn't a hit, but the crowd seemed to love it. So yeah, Cody's right there, and he's going to be in the title match at Mania. I want to hear your answer first, but I think Cody, even though he didn't win the Rumble due to McIntyre's interference, which he reminded us of, he still seems well positioned to be in the world title picture come April.
I think I feel the same way. Everything you said, exactly that. I actually thought the promo leading up to that point was great, and then I went, "Oh,
they don't call me Raheem for."
It's like what?
Cody, during Black History Month.
I was like,
that was
exactly my.
We love Brandy. We love Liberty. Come on, man. Just pause, bro.
I wonder if he did it because it's Black History Month, and he's remembered the timeline from 2 years ago, and I feel like it was a direct reference to that. Just it didn't. I don't know. For me, it didn't land. I heard it and went, "Why? What's the point of this?"
Perhaps that was my issue. I didn't understand the source material. I didn't understand the reference. I guess that was a reference to Twitter from years ago. Okay.
That's what it felt like. I don't know if it is or not.
Maybe
but
that
it just feels like.
Are we talking Radio Raheem? Does Cody watch Gimmick Infringement? We got to Do the Right Thing. Who's Raheem? Raheem Devon, R&B singer. I had his songs on my iPod Nano. What are we talking about?
It felt. Yeah, it didn't feel good.
What do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about what source material are you referencing, Cody? It was just not necessary.
Yeah, felt it was there and whatever. But I guess the point is, where do you see it going? The Drew storyline is less interesting than the Chasers. It's everybody around Drew. Who's going to fight Drew? What's Drew doing in the meantime? It's Drew in the meantime, and then cutting the promos and stuff is fine. I think Drew's doing a great job with what he's doing. I don't particularly care all that much because I'm more interested in who he's going to face than what he's currently doing and what the other people are doing around him. Because it's obviously they're going to have Cody be involved. But I don't know that means Cody wins Elimination Chamber. The way I could see it happening is Jacob Fatu wins Elimination Chamber and somebody, maybe Drew, maybe Cody, whatever, is cost. He loses the match, but not in a way that's like fair to him. But Jacob Fatu goes, "I want Drew." And Cody says, "I never got my rematch." And then triple threat. That's probably the way this is going, right? So that's the way that makes sense in my head. And then you have a triple threat, and then you have a one-on-one, and you get all of them in the main event, and then you have Jacob Fatu walk away with the belt. Like Cody and Drew are too consumed with beating the crap out of each other that Fatu takes advantage and wins the belt. I could see that.
That's the move.
Mm-hmm. Make a superstar right then and there, and I could see that happening. So, I hope it happens for Jacob Fatu, given the life that dude's lived, and how hard he's worked, and how great he's been for so long and unseen because of it. Mm-hmm. I'm excited, but that doesn't make me particularly excited for Drew's story, just the people around Drew. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, well, as a Drew fan, his promo on SmackDown was cathartic for me because over the over the last 5 years, I keep thinking back to that inflection point of the pandemic WrestleMania in scheduled for Tampa, right? Buccaneer, Pirate City. And
that's right.
It happened at the Performance Center. We got you back into wrestling. So a success in that regard. But that being Drew McIntyre's crowning moment, we were all ready for Brock Lesnar to drop the title. This was supposed to be in front of tens of thousands of fans in the WWE universe, but then the world shuts down and we have these existential questions about our mortality and what is life going to look like now. Drew still gets his moment, but it's at the Performance Center in front of no fans. And you fast forward to now, 6 years later, he's still been a prominent face in WWE. He's still won big matches, even though he ostensibly lost the CM Punk feud and lost to Roman when Roman was a despicable heel in the bloodline. But he's been featured prominently. It's not like he's been an afterthought. However, as you pointed out, Brad, he exists in this world of CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, these huge names, even a Seth Rollins, right? And where do we slot Drew into this conversation? How can he feel, for fans, how can he feel like he's on that same tier or just right there? I really enjoyed this promo because he reminded folks, hey, I've been putting in the work. I put this company on my back when the world shut down, I'll insert along with Sasha and Bailey. We love the golden role models. But I've been that steady force steering the ship for this company. I check all the boxes. He didn't say all this part, but when we look at Drew McIntyre's resume and what he brings to the table, I just am such a huge fan of his body of work. We've been able to see him live, and I want him to be seen on that tier with those other guys that I mentioned. Granted, he may not have the name ID or the reach of those people, but before he hangs it up, not saying he's hanging it up, not saying Guthrie is going to retire him this year or next year, but we have a lot of wrestlers on the male side of the roster who are in their late 30s, if not early 40s. And I'm at the stage of my fandom where I want to appreciate these wrestlers while we have them and while they're healthy. And I want them to be given those flowers. So for Drew to just say with his chest that, yo, I've been here. I know Roman and Punk were talking crazy, but don't forget about me. I'm the champ. This, that, and the other. I was just very much clapping on the couch watching that. I said, yeah, Drew, you talk your stuff. And hopefully the match at Mania is presented as the big deal that it should be. Because you and I said on the podcast, me in particular, I thought there was going to be some route in which Cody beats Drew before Mania, and then we get Cody versus Roman 3. I am actually very excited that WWE is going a different direction, and they're going Roman Punk, and then presumably Drew versus, as you said, the winner of Elimination Chamber, possibly Jacob Fatu, maybe a three-way dance between Fatu and Rhodes. I'm just glad that all signs point to Drew going into Mania as champ. I think that's really important.
Jacob Fatu is 33.
Oh, wow. I thought he was older for some reason.
I thought so too. But
that's good.
Cody, Roman, and Drew are all 40 years old.
Wow.
40 each, and CM Punk is 47.
Wow.
Which is older than I thought he was.
Yeah. And by the way, Oba, Trick, Javon,
yeah.
You got dudes who
Braun,
of course, who have shown up. I'm thinking of the first two in particular. Braun's been on the main roster for a minute now, but you have guys who have shown they are next up. And if those guys that we just said are not world champs by this Christmas, something's gone wrong. Particularly Oba and Braun. I mean, they're just, it's going to be their time by December, if not sooner. And then Trick Williams is getting some of the biggest reactions on WWE TV. So, his time is coming. So that's why Drew, and particularly Drew out of this quartet, I want him to have these moments and have this meaningful run because, man, WWE has a deep bench right now on the main roster. And whenever Oba Femi wins, I don't think he's losing the title in my lifetime. That's just where we're at with Oba. There's only so many titles.
Carmelo Hayes is 31. Trick Williams is 31. Javon Evans is 21. Oba Femi, 27. Braun Breaker, 28. So you have a lot of young guys on the roster, but even looking at it, I'm like, okay, Braun Breaker is already 28 years old. That's wild to me. I thought he was younger than that.
Yeah, I didn't think Trick was 30 yet. That's interesting.
Yeah, 31 years old, according to the World Wide Web. Whether or not it's true. It says May 26, 1994. Shout out to a May 20s baby. was really surprised to see the ages of the main guys. I think back to like, how old was The Rock when he was fighting Stone Cold in those Manias? How old was Stone Cold in those Manias? I think they were 30s and 20s.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now, trying to think of like WrestleMania. Was it 17?
I heard a stat recently that there hasn't been a male world champion in WWE under 30 since, I want to say, it's been a decade or a decade plus. It's jarring. I really believe this year that's where it changes. You just have some talented guys who are ready.
WrestleMania 17, Stone Cold was 36 and The Rock was 28. So looking at this year's WrestleMania going, we might have 40, 40, 47, whatever the other age was, 30 something, 33, I think for Fatu, something like that.
You said 33, yes.
Yeah. That's just wild. I just deleted a note on here because I wanted to go through and put the ages of all the men's and women's talent on the rosters to just look at what they are and have it updated, because I've been thinking about it a lot. To your point, having a young, because we've had younger champions, but not with the main belts. They've been IC champs and US champs and stuff like that, but not world champ. And I do feel like, how much of that is really just on the mic, honing your craft as a character more than an in-ring wrestler. Because, the younger you are, of course, your in-ring ability is going to be a little bit more fluid, I'd say, but you're going to take more risks. It's not going to look polished as much as what other people are going to do. In most scenarios, I do feel like Javon Evans is like different. He just seems like he knows what he's doing out there and he's polished. I wonder in 10 years if he's still going 18 feet into the air and landing the same way. It's like Seth's move off the top rope that cost him a knee. He stopped doing that thing. But how good is Seth on the mic? How good is Punk on the mic? Roman is even great on the mic. And it used to be him just floundering up there famously, right? Like with John Cena, I think, or he just couldn't remember anything. It's just looking at what they are now, that takes time, and they're in their 40s and they're really good at this and they still look really good in the ring. But yeah, it's shocking to think, like, I can't think of anybody that's been, 28 and a champion like The Rock, or younger Cena or whatever. So yeah, be interesting. So Tyler, my question. Okay, we have Gunther pulled a Miz or an MJF, depending on how you want to look at the inside of his coat. Pretending to be AJ Styles before hanging Dragon Lee, and Dragon Lee doing a Darby Allin. And before Gunther leaving with his $3,000 coat. I looked it up. It is a $2,800 Burberry coat. The El Grandes are still doing all of that. Steph retained, and Roman picked Punk out of hate. So we often talk about the Raw after Mania, but Tyler, what did you think overall for the Raw after the Rumble?
It was a very strong showing. I'm encouraged at the positive direction heading into Elimination Chamber and then WrestleMania. I mean, so much of my intrigue for this show, of course, the conversation starts and stops with Stephanie Bacquer, but Oba Femi popping up, and as we concluded, not officially defeating the Warbreakers in a handicap match, but just beating the brakes off them, doing his pose and leaving.
Spiritually defeating them, yes.
I thought about this because I knew I would see you today. I thought about this. I just have not been this excited for an NXT star to be on the main roster as I am with Oba Femi. I mean, this just feels different to me, and I'm glad that from the jump he's just continued to be presented as a big deal. Again, I think he's going to be world champ by the end of this calendar year, so that was a plus. And then for the show to end with Roman, and you mentioned Guthrie as well, right? Let's not forget him. And there's a lot of intrigue around what is his Mania match going to be. Is this the year that he retires Brock Lesnar? I believe it's been speculated that Brock Lesnar is retiring this year. Maybe that's the Mania match. Maybe there's something else. coming up for Gunther, but he's an invaluable member of the roster. That's a plus. And then again, for the night to end with Reigns and Punk, and for it to be solidified, we're not going to waste any time. Roman declares he's coming after CM Punk. The promo duel was epic, and I would imagine we are going to be signed up for many more memorable moments in the weeks, and now in this case in the months to come. So I'm really eager to see how do they handle that now that they got the graphic up. It's the first match made official for Mania in Vegas part 2. What are they going to give us for the next 2 months? I'm really intrigued to see where this goes from here. So it was a win. It was a huge win, and in conjunction, SmackDown also being really strong as of late.
Yeah.
Creatively, WWE has started out 2026 in a much more favorable position than I believe they ended 2025.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun show. We got Penta. It started with Braun. The Braun leaving the Vision tease has been pretty strong for a while now. I think we can all say the who's the masked man, and then everybody in the arena just having an answer was really funny. It's clearly Paul. Yeah. Like it's just.
How do you feel about a Logan Paul versus Braun Breaker Mania match?
Are you seated? Feel about it. I think it's stupid. Here, let me rephrase it. I can't wait for it. You know how it's going to end. So yeah, I'm here for it.
Logan Paul jumps in the air. Braun Breaker spears him.
I miles per hour. Going to come out there and try to interfere with the match, and then it's going to see Braun and turn around and run out. Like I could see that absolutely happening.
I wonder if Seth Rollins is healthy by Mania. Probably not, right?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Maybe he comes out at the end of the match.
No, and you know what? I was remiss last week in the second time I said that, not mentioning Bianca Belair and.
Oh gosh! Speaking of people I love.
Yeah,
I miss Bianca Belair.
Well, Seth's out, injured, but Bianca's out injured. I didn't realize she had like a really serious knuckle injury that has just taken more time than they thought. So.
I thought it was like a paper cut initially, but she's been out for. That's disrespectful to her. I am a baby when I get a paper cut. Apparently, she had a really serious hand or finger injury.
Yeah,
my goodness, it's been
lost
months.
Mobility and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. Hopefully she's on the road to recovery and she can come back. If not, we'll all be heartbroken. But you got to take care of you. There's no sense in going I might lose my hand over this. Like, I get it, but no, thanks. So, yeah, man, I think Seth coming back makes sense. But we had Braun, we had the backstage stuff, Paul trying and then failing on that and giving up. That I feel like they're establishing a motivator to be like you can't be a part of a group. You're not group material. You had to go. You're ruining the vision. Like I can absolutely see something like that happening. It felt like they were setting something up for that, and that'll be really interesting. We got Otis and Tozawa with Burt Kreischer backstage, which was real weird and unnecessary in its entirety. And they cut off Otis saying, "Oh yeah, Philadelphia," because oh yeah, Philadelphia. And that was it. We had a really quotable Paul Heyman moment, which I thought was great. Google that shit. I'm not here to educate you is something I'm clipping for sure.
You got to save that. You got to save that one in the folder.
Yeah, that one might be in the folder on my laptop at school. We'll see. I am there to educate, though. Unfortunately, I can't play it. I thought overall it was a great one. I like a memorable one for sure. It furthered storylines. It made me excited about matches coming up. And the evening was bookended. I thought it started strong. We got, Braun eventually leaving in the middle of the show or toward the end of the show. The Paul confrontation, FAFO with Adam Pearce. And then Paul going, okay. And then it immediately cutting. And I don't know if this was live, but because I watched it afterward, it's cutting to a shot of the arena and then Philadelphia on the bottom. And I was like, what a great Heyman moment. Paul Heyman in Philly, always a good time.
He's got a lot of history there, I hear.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah. Someday I need him to come back out with that hat on though. Just for Philly show. Anyway, Tyler, I thought it was a really good move. I thought it was great. I hope they can sustain the momentum. They've done a pretty good job historically well, not historically, the last couple of years of kind of building it well enough toward Mania for at least the main events on the men's side that I'm intrigued to see what happens. I hope they can figure it out for all parties involved.
Well said. And there's no easy transition to our next segment. This is a pretty unique edition of what happened here. But Brad, there's a huge news story of not just national but global interest that is taking place. I was going to say in our backyard, but really more so your backyard that we must discuss. So it's time for another edition of what happened here. Let's play the music.
What happened here?
Brad, not a lot of notes for this one. NBC News' Savannah Guthrie's mom disappeared 1 week ago, living in Tucson, living in the foothills, and allegedly she was taken from her bedroom at 2 a.m. And since then, in the week that has passed, there have been reports of alleged ransom notes sent to local news stations in Tucson. Savannah Guthrie and her two siblings have appeared on social media, releasing videos speaking to those who took her mom and pleading with them to let her go. More recently, I think they released a third video by now, stating that they're willing to pay whatever the ransom amount is in Bitcoin. Brad, this gave me vibes of, I remember being in high school actually when then Congresswoman Gabby Giffords
That's what I was thinking
was shot at that Safeway for that sort of meet and greet
Jared Loughner
event. Jared Loughner, right. And Tucson is such a special place to meet. It's a special place to you. You've lived there longer than I did for my decade stint. When I think of Tucson, in the news, it seems like it's these polar opposite emotional moments of, even right now, I'm wearing the hat, the University of Arizona men's basketball team, still 23-0, number one in the nation, talks amongst the fan base. Is this the year? Can it happen? Finally, would be the first championship since 1997. So there's that emotional high. And then shades of Gabby Giffords, and luckily Gabby Giffords obviously survived that terrible, gruesome attack at the Safeway. Then you have this news story pop up of an alleged kidnapping. And as of our recording, no one seems to know the fate of Nancy Guthrie, although as the days pass, as goes with stories of disappearances, especially those of an elder, it does not look promising that this person is still with us.
Right.
So Brad, you are living in the old Pueblo. Like me, you follow true crime stories. I am so curious, not only what happened here, but what do you make of all this? And even has there been any talk in the community or at school about this story that has brought global eyes to Tucson?
The only talk in the community that I've had about this has been with Jess, the one that told me about it. I didn't know. I'm so closed off right now and locked in on what's going on in my own little sphere that I'm missing stuff, and I'm not going out of my way to find out. Because every time I turn on the news, it's some racist thing the president's doing or some bullshit ICE is doing. And I just figured I'd try to avoid that for my own mental health. And then Jess is like, did you hear about the anchor's mom who was kidnapped? I was like, no, she's the one that broke the news to me. And then I went up, I went to class. It's like, let's start. Nobody brought it up. I went to my meetings. We did some art stuff in my meeting. Nobody brought it up. So people have been really quiet, at least up in Marana, but all the people that are in my circle are adults who are also involved with this musical right now. So we're all sort of like head down, tunnel vision, and we're missing stuff. And I know that when I talked to Jess, she said, it's all anybody can talk about is, I can't believe this is happening. And then the other stuff I mentioned too, but yeah, it's scary. It was like, what, 2010, I think, when Gabby Giffords was shot.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it was exactly 2010.
So we were living in Wisconsin, and I remember watching the news in our apartment, and I saw it. And I was like, "Why is Safeway on my Madison area news network? We don't have Safeways up here. That's not a thing that exists up here." And I was like, "That looks familiar. Holy crap, that's a Safeway I used to go to. That's wild. Oh my god, what happened?" Yeah, I remember that vividly.
And not to mention people, several citizens were fatally shot.
Children were shot.
Yeah, I should not go
It's
without saying.
I believe she was 6.
Just
I
terrible,
can't remember,
right?
6, 9. Doesn't matter.
Tragic,
Um,
absolutely.
I think it might have been 6 people, including a 9-year-old. That might be the number that I was thinking of, but like that dude, that kid, he dropped out and was like lots of issues and stuff. Went to Mountain View, so like there's all these connections
Wow, I didn't realize that.
here.
The sister high school in your district.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So
I think that was the last
yeah,
time Tucson was really in the news in this large of a moment, though, not related to collegiate athletics.
yeah,
It was about 15 years ago for, a huge tragedy.
yeah, and it's awful, and I think it's the view that people have of the city and the area when it's like it's not like that. It's very frustrating when I hear people talk about it like it's like there's nothing there. It's garbage. It's crime all the time, and it's like go to any city and you're gonna find garbage and crime. Like you're gonna find it anywhere. But then you have something like this happen, and it's like, well, how are you gonna refute anything that anybody says? They stole an old woman out of their bedroom. Like I don't know what kind of person would do something like this. Like I simply will never understand the actions of somebody going after our elders, some of our most vulnerable people, to get some Bitcoin. I want some Bitcoin. I just, yeah, I have thoughts. I'm trying not to disparage an entire group of people, but I know exactly what these people are thinking of right now.
And who knows? I would hope that by our next recording, there are more details released, and obviously, what we hope is that Nancy Guthrie is found, that she is
Yes.
okay, and that her captors are brought to justice. It was jarring, Brad, when I saw the news come out. And Savannah Guthrie, also, by the way, being a proud Wildcat alumna, it just made me think back to 2010. And to your point, perhaps how the perception of Tucson um, sometimes is not as magical as we know that place to be, and just how people take care of each other in Tucson. It's a special community, and we just hope the best for the Guthries.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Scary time, man.
It is. There's a lot. There's a lot going on, as you mentioned. A lot.
Like tough way in, tough way out. No real transition here. But we got to talk about more graps, so let's get into it. It's time for AEW talk. Hit me with your question.
Okay, Grand Slam Australia is this Saturday. It really snuck up on me. I am
Yeah.
very excited for this card. I may surprise you with the direction of this question. I want to ask you about two faces of AEW who are scheduled to compete at this huge show. Timeless Tony Storm and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Mixed nuts, plural. Nuts, plural, Jones. I would argue, Brad, that they are as synonymous with AEW and its unique presentation as anyone else on this increasingly large, talented roster. Given their cachet, how satisfied are you with their current storyline against the Death Riders? And do you think they leave Grand Slam with a win and their hair?
I think they win with their hair. I think they, yeah. The only like the hair versus hair matches are always so interesting because I can never tell. You know, like the peek behind the curtain we get is usually it's like, all right, somebody's losing their hair because they're losing their hair, and it makes more sense for them to just shave their head as part of a storyline and keep it that way than to not. I think didn't Kurt Angle do that? I can't remember. If he lost it in a storyline where he had his head shaved. But I know a lot of people have done that in the past. It's like, oh no, I got my head shaved and now it's just shaved forever. I don't think that's Tony Storm, and I don't think that's Orange Cassidy, and I don't think that's any. Listen, if anybody needed a comedic act to go up against, it's the Death Riders, a group called the Death Riders, the ultra serious group called the Death Riders. Yeah. So I'm hoping that they get the win. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick them because I just really want to see them win. They're just a lot of fun.
Me too. Tony Storm returning to the motherland. It's one thing to be featured on the card where you're from,
Yeah.
but then to get a win, it seems like there's a track record in AEW of talent being featured on these cards, particularly in Australia and when they go overseas. But then also more often than not, those same talent actually winning the matches. I agree with you. I got Timeless Tony and Orange Cassidy winning this match. And I believe the stipulation is whoever gets pinned has to shave their head, not necessarily
Oh,
the
right,
team.
right. Yeah.
So this would be a layup for Wheeler Yuta to get pinned, whether it be at the hands of OC or Timeless Tony. I could just see either of them pinning Wheeler. The latter would be awesome if Tony got the dub there for her team, and then Wheeler finally shaving his head. I don't even know how Wheeler Yuta can see when he rocks the bangs, right? So from a logistical standpoint,
did they go after the beard too?
Yes, the beard, baby. From what's going to get the crowd hype, you know that, and you and I have seen this live. It seems like wherever AEW travels to, Wheeler Yuta is just treated as one of the most despicable heels on the roster, far more than an MJF or Megan Bain or even Tekla. People just love to boo Wheeler Yuta. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure the crowd would go up for Wheeler getting his head shaven. Yeah, I agree with you. And frankly, I was not concerned, but I was very curious to see how Toni Storm and Orange Cassidy would be treated creatively, since neither are in title contention. And again, to me, when I think about the cachet and the vibes of AEW and what makes All Elite Wrestling a unique presentation from WWE, the first two names I think of are Storm and Cassidy. And yes, there's a Darby, and you can go down the list, but I think these two are so incredibly valuable to the brand. And I actually think what they're doing now, Mixed Nuts Jones and maybe a love triangle with Mina Shirakawa, it's silly, it's remarkably entertaining, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts about that. But I'll save them. But I just want to see what happens because it's just been fun to watch. This is the part where I think I just like wrestling when it's this, right? Like when it's just this, where it doesn't have to make a lot of sense, and it makes perfect sense by not making any sense. And that's when it's fun because it's creatively free, it's silly, it's entertaining, and it's just entertaining. It's not just I have to pay attention to the storyline and all the references and the nuance and all this. It's like, no, it's just ridiculous and it's awesome. Like, okay, you showed me the Orange Cassidy pack match. Was it the original Double or Nothing?
Still one of my favorites. That was
Revolution. That's right.
I want to say Revolution. Gosh, maybe 2020.
Yeah, it sounds right.
2020, 2021.
Early in the company's history. It had to be the first one. It had to have been 2020.
I think that was Mox defeating Jericho in the main event to become champ, if I'm not mistaken.
So he doing the little kicks, like the crowd going crazy. I tried explaining because kids were asking about the poster the other day in my room, and I was like, "Well, this guy's name is Orange Cassidy," and I had to explain who Orange Cassidy was, and was talking about how it's just theater. And
what'd you say?
Yeah. Well, that's when I was like, I don't know how to describe him. He does these really lazy kicks, and everybody goes crazy for it. What do you mean? It's like, I don't know how to describe this to you. Like, there's no way to describe. He is Paul Rudd's character in Wet Hot American Summer, but a wrestler. That's the only way you could describe it because it's where the look came from. So it's impossible to tell somebody about what this wrestler is when you have this idea of a pro wrestler in your head, and then you go like, no, but he's smaller than the other guys and fast, and he wrestles with his hands in his pockets, and he does these kicks that don't hurt and gives lazy thumbs up, but he wears aviators, so that's it. That's all I got. Like it's weird to explain it to somebody else. So, but I don't know.
It's one of those situations where you got to see it, and I think what they've
100%.
done well with OC, and what he's done well as a performer with his own autonomy, is over the years since that match, leaning into the mental aspect of it. We've seen matches where he does that to trick his opponents, and then he turns it on, and he, bell to bell is as gifted as just about anyone on the roster. To me, even if he's never heavyweight champion or men's world champion, he still serves an incredibly valuable role to that company and on that card. And I think the partnership, like I said, with him and Toni is really working right now. Granted, I don't think we've seen Uncle Brett and OC in the same room. So like Freya, I have questions. Is Uncle Brett Orange Cassidy? I don't know. If you know, you know.
We'll
But
find out when we get some promos from Egypt.
Makes me love him even more. Shout out to Uncle Brett. The wedding of the century coming up later this year in Cairo. We love that.
Okay, a lot of in-ring stuff this week was great. Storylines are developing, and the MJF situation is interesting. The Brody King, essentially the squash, and also all the F ice chants that were breaking out in the audience. I know MJF was interviewed about it. He's like, "That's what I love about the company. We just let the crowd chant whatever they want to chant. We let them kind of drive the show, and that's what I love about working here." And I thought that was pretty cool. But MJF, Tyler, had a photo op this week with Seth freaking Rollins. Here's my question. Very straightforward question. Tyler, more likely to happen first, because I believe it'll happen in general, but more likely, Tyler Black in AEW or MJF in WWE?
Wow. That's tough. Like literally, that question is amazing and it's difficult to answer. Oh, wow. Without knowing the specifics of both of their contracts, I would say MJF in WWE. I would. Both seem incredibly possible, but I would think performer-wise, MJF may have a bigger desire to just test out WWE at the end of his current contract with AEW than Seth Rollins or the artist formerly known as Tyler Black making his way to AEW. I'm also considering the ages of both performers and the health history. By all accounts, it seems like Seth Rollins has been happy in WWE and has been compensated very handsomely. Becky Lynch is also there, his partner. So even just age-wise, maybe that's my number one reasoning is MJF, if I'm not mistaken, is still in his late 20s, and their health permitting is still such a runway. I mean, ideally, he'll be wrestling for the next 10 to 15 years if he chooses to. That's a lot more time than maybe someone who's 10 years older in a Seth Rollins who has battled some injuries. So I'm going to go MJF and WWE for this one, but I would love to see both of those situations happen. And if we could eventually get a program between these two, if it could come full circle, I think that would be really awesome. What say you? Great question.
Exactly the same thing. That was my reasoning too. By the way, you nailed it. Exactly 10 years apart. MJF 29, Seth Rollins 39.
Wow.
Again, age WWE. Yeah, I think MJF just has more time, time to make a decision to go there or not go there, time to, figure out if he wants to stay with AEW. Seth seemingly is getting more opportunities to do like the Rich Eisen show and go do some other stuff and is spreading his wings a little bit. I know he's done some acting and like the scenes that he was in, I don't remember what movie it was. Was it Superman? Like some of the scenes he did for one of the movies recently got cut. So I don't think he was in it, but he was in it. It's one of those deals. MJF.
He was also on the panel for Skyscraper Live.
That's right. That's
as
right.
Well, Alex Honnold
climbing
right? Type. I'm still fascinated with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that literally happened. That wasn't AI generated. Yeah. It was Seth Rollins, L. Duncan, and then someone else I'm forgetting who were on the panel for that. So both guys clearly have interests outside of the ring for sure.
Right. And they're using the property that their brands are on.
Yes.
So Seth is doing Netflix things, and MJF is doing Warner Brothers Discovery things.
Right.
Whatever that looks like in the future. But like doing the Happy Gilmore 2 and being an athletic, charismatic Jewish man in the movie to be Adam Sandler's son makes all the sense in the world. It's right there. But also filming for Violent Night for the exact same reasons that I just said, I think is perfect. I cannot wait to see what he's like on the screen for that movie. I'm giddy about it, thinking about him and David Harbour sharing screen time.
He's excellent. MJF is. Yeah. I know he says it as a character that he's a generational talent and he's the best on the stick. He's the best in the ring. When you really think about it,
he's hard to dispute. Yeah.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that he took 2 Gonzo bombs. That was crazy on Dynamite.
Yeah.
But he maybe he has a point when he says that.
Yeah, he's amazing. But I'm with you. I think age-wise, I think it would make more sense for MJF to appear in WWE, run it back with Punk before its end if he's still there wrestling at that time. Like MJF and Cody doing it again. And there's so many possibilities of people that were in AEW, but like MJF, Seth Rollins would be feud one I'd want to see. Like that's the one that I would want to see more than any of the other ones. I would want to see MJF and Seth Rollins.
That would be phenomenal. And with no pun intended, I wonder if we get AJ Styles in WWE this year. For the possibility of MJF going to WWE one day, sure, we've seen AEW talent who have jumped ship. Most recently, Royce Keys, the artist formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs. I would be really fascinated to see just, I don't know if ramifications is the right word, but just the feel, just the vibes of how that would look. Because when Cody went from AEW to WWE, I mean, the ground shook all the way in Tucson, all the way in Glendale. I wonder if you had someone who was just tried and true AEW, just a top of the top megastar in the company, jump ship, just what that would look like, what that would feel like, who maybe in AEW would be propelled now that a spot would be open. I mean, you have Will Ospreay. By the way, the Will Ospreay vignette on Dynamite. Yes, please. I'm talking to the biggest Will Ospreay fan I know. Yeah, we forget. Oh, yeah, he exists. And speaking of people who need to be world champion in 2026, Oba Femi, 1A, Will Ospreay. It must happen. I just wonder if MJF does go, that would just be jarring to see him pop up in the Rumble or at Mania or wherever. But then for AEW, how would they respond? Who would be able to fill that void? And unlike perhaps when Cody went to AEW, it's like, oh, who's next? Who's ready to kind of take that mantle? Mm-hmm. I think now we've seen with their growing roster, man, there are just so many talented people in AEW. It's nuts. The Rascals were fighting in a parking lot brawl. You got Kyle Fletcher, who
the post
challenging Tommaso
was great too.
Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland. It's an incredible time to be a fan of not only AEW but wrestling in general. I don't know if these rosters have ever been as deep as they are now. And you got TNA, you got MLW. I know Ashe is taking a brief break as they re-strategize, but there are just so many companies out here with talented people they're showcasing. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the women's talent is unbelievable, and I know it's only growing. And we've had the privilege of seeing some women wrestle in the indies in Phoenix, and I know that there's going to be a lot if that one place is any indication of what's coming up, and looking at what's happening in MLW or GCW or Defy or Future Stars, or there's so many different places that are highlighting this talent and letting them grow, that that some of these moves are going to be made. They'll end up in ROH, TNA, at the Performance Center. Like, I'm just excited for the future of pro wrestling, because the now of pro wrestling is really, really fun, especially heading toward one of the biggest shows of the year. Arguably, I don't even think inarguably the biggest show of the year in any wrestling promotion. We have WrestleMania coming up. It's exciting. It's really exciting. Speaking of excited, Tyler, I got to watch an action movie this week. It was fun, but I want to talk about it. It's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, tune in. Let's talk about The Rip. Play the music.
And now, it's time for GI at the Movies.
All right, listen. I like a good artistic, thinker movie. I want a think piece. I like to watch those and go like, well, Oppenheimer. Wow, really powerful, beautiful movie. Incredible. I've been an Interstellar fan since the moment that I went and saw it in the theaters. I thought it's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Just top to bottom, one of the greatest films of all time. People are now starting to catch up, and they're like, I think we underhyped this movie. This movie is incredible. It's one of the best movies ever. And at the time, people were like, I didn't like the ending. It's like, why? Because you're stupid? However, maybe that's mean. I don't know. But I'm not wrong. I think
you're passionate. You're passionate.
Well, it's just like, well, I didn't get it. It's like, well, yeah, because you're, read the book.
I didn't like it. It was over 2 hours. No, who would? Who would say that?
Might be a couple people. I know.
I don't know.
So The Rip is not. I didn't go into it thinking like I'm about to watch The Departed. I went into it thinking I'm about to watch a movie about some cops in Hialeah, which got called Hialeah at least once in that film. And I'm not even saying it correctly, but at least I got that sound kind of right. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Tyler, did you know that they had not acted together in a film in like 20 years?
No, really?
Doesn't that
it's
a
been
crazy
2 decades.
figure? Yeah.
That
At least
crazy.
with leads working together on screen. I think they've done projects together, but never, it hasn't been a Dogma Goodwill Hunting situation like back in the day.
I was not aware.
Yeah, I mean, either. I just figured they had been doing it the entire time and I just missed it. I had no idea. So this is their first film that they've done together in like 20 years. And they play a couple of cops. The premise is one of their team members they're a task force that they go after. Essentially, they go after cartel money or just money. It starts off with one of their team members being gunned down, murdered, and she fires off a text at the last second, and it has an address on it. And then they go to do a rip, and it's to go find this money. They got a money sniffing dog, and they bring the dog with, and they find this cash, and then it turns out like it's not what you think, and lots of intrigue. You can't trust anybody. Nobody trusts anybody. The whole street later on, they're like, what's going on with this street? It's completely empty. Where are all the cars? There's nobody living here. And very tense movie. I kind of figured out what was going on pretty early on, but I don't care. It was fun. It was just a fun movie, man. Like if you like a good action, kind of tense, old school, I don't know, like an old school buddy cop drama. This is one of those. And then it devolves into we're not buddy cops pretty quickly and turns into holy crap, what's going on? It's fun. Just give it a watch. Make sure the kids aren't around. It's not because of the violence. There's plenty of violence to go around in there. I would say, I don't know, if you gave me 10 words, I would assume at least 4 were F-bombs. That's why I think this movie got the rating it got more than anything else. It's just sort of like, I got to pause here, so I have to swear. So it's just one of those things. Lots of language stuff. So I'm glad I watched it by myself, but watch it. It's worth the watch. It's a fun movie. If you have Netflix, you already have it. Let it go. Give it a watch. It's a good time. And if you're a Walking Dead fan, I can't remember the actor name, and it's driving me crazy, but Glenn from Walking Dead plays a central part. And then there's some other familiar faces, especially those of you that love any given Sunday. There's plenty of cast members in here that are incredible. It is worth watching.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Brad, you know how we close every episode. What did we miss?
Wow, kicking it to me first. This is weird. Okay, shout out to Brad Arnold, 3 Doors Down lead singer and songwriter who lost his fight with cancer at age 47. Thinking of him and the band members. I listened to quite a bit of 3 Doors Down. I want to say it was early college, late high school time, around there. I can't even remember now because a lot of that stuff. It was CDs. It's not like I was switching it up, you know. I had my CDs and they were always there. So I don't timelines are all fuzzy. And the Muppet Show returned, and it was perfect old school Muppet Show nostalgia. If you haven't checked it out on Disney Plus, I can't even remember how long it is. It's a half hour, 45-minute show. Seth Rogen produced it. I was nervous because Seth Rogen produced it, and I was nervous because Sabrina Carpenter was in it. I thought we were going to get like Raunch Fest Muppets, which I appreciated when it was on ABC. I thought it was hilarious, but not really a Muppet show. It's not a kid-friendly show. This was, if you watch the OG Muppet Show, if you were watching it when Sly was a guest star or when Mark Hamill was coming out the back to be a guest star, it feels exactly the same as that. It looks the same feel. They brought it back 1,000% fold. I thought it was a pitch perfect Muppet Show rendition, and it's also worth the watch. So diet GI at the movies here, but that's what we missed this week.
We love that. I second you. The Muppets, an incredibly influential show during my youth. I remember having the Kermit toy, not even a toy. I mean, it was like half the size of me when I was a kid. And Miss Piggy always kills it, and I have such an affinity for the Muppets. I'm glad they're back. That makes me happy.
Same, yes.
Okay, I have 2 notes for what did we miss. Number 1, even though I don't have an active TNA Plus subscription anymore, I do appreciate how TNA uploads content to their YouTube page. Brad, there was a very fun intergender tag match on Impact, specifically the Spark Jada Stone, one of TNA's recent signees of Ashe fame. Killed it, has been killing it, and is killing it so far on Impact. She had a really fun sequence opposite Mustafa Ali during this match. And granted, TNA, I would say more so than any other major wrestling company, has dabbled in the intergender wrestling far more consistently than others. That was certainly the case with this match. So much so that Jada Stone and Mustafa Ali had a multi-minute sequence in which she hit a couple of tornado DDTs on him. She's also, in case anyone listening or watching us has not seen Jada Stone, she is a high flyer as well. So she did some high flying against Mustafa and his tag partner, Tasha Steelz of Order 4. Jada Stone just really showed out. Even though she lost, even though she took the pin for her team, this was very much a showcase for the Spark. And I'm really excited to see what she can do with on Impact and with TNA moving forward. Second point, and I have some notes about this, an artist you and I both enjoy, J. Cole. He released his 5th studio album on Friday. The Fall Off is a double album featuring 24 songs and clocking in at just over 90 minutes. Cole first began teasing the album all the way back on 2018's KOD, an album you and I listened to. We were still working together at that time. Yeah, really interesting pivot at that point in his career. Anyway, in a 2020 article with the Players Tribune, Cole described his goals for the Fall Off, writing, quote, "As I approach the summit of this mountain, I still find myself staring at the other one, wondering if I can climb," end quote. This is from a song off the Fallout entitled Bombs in the Ville / Hit the Gas. Cole says, "Got gray hairs on my head. That means I know a few things." J. Cole is 40 years old, Brad. Speaking of talented 40-year-old dudes whose art we consume, I really enjoyed this album. Granted, I've only listened to it sort of cover to cover once. It's a different, J. Cole is in a different stage of his career and his life than any of his previous albums. I didn't really mess with 2024's Might Delete Later. The offseason came out in 2021. That was a solid project, but this is different. This is giving Opus vibes, and maybe this is J. Cole's last album. We shall see. But this is very much a project that must be consumed start to finish and then reconsumed over and over again. I look forward to doing that on my commutes to and from school this week. But the man's got gray hairs. The man is very reflective. He's thinking about mortality. He's thinking about his legacy in music. And there are some bops on this project. The standout tracks for me are Bunts Road Blues featuring Future and Thames, The Villist. There's also a song called Life Sentence, which is a long-awaited love song from Cole, which I predict will actually become the biggest track from the album. It's a very great project. I look forward to hearing not only what you think, Brad, but what our audience thinks. Let us know here on YouTube. Drop us a comment. Hit us up on social at GIPod19, and we will be sure to spotlight your thoughts and your review on our next episode. That's all I got.
Just added it to the library.
Let's go.
Later. I didn't even realize it was out.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, I'm so out of touch of the world.
You're locked in. Listen, you are locked in. That's what we call it.
Crazy. Well, this is fun, man.
This is great.
You always do a better job at this than I will ever do. So I'm going to pass it to you.
You are.
We got to close out.
You are a gift. You are very kind. I appreciate you. Yeah, we got to close out, man. This was a blast. It is always a joy to see you. It's always a joy for our audience to check in with us every single Monday, whether you watch, whether you listen. We love and appreciate you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. And you know how this goes. We'll see you next time. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.